Hey friends, it's Chelsea. I am sure that about this time you are starting to surf for homeschooling videos because you're gearing up for another year. If that's the case, you're going to be seeing a trend on YouTube of all my curriculum that I just hauled and unboxing my curriculum and everything that I plan on doing this year. And I can't share that because I do unschooling with my children and we homeschool year round. So we just rolled over into a new year of our homeschooling within like the past week or two here. And it was very seamless, and here we are. The kids didn't even notice the difference. But with that, I did want to share some resources that we pull from constantly as we're exploring what is interesting to my children and building out more of those interests. If you followed along at all, you will know a little bit about how we are going into quite a in-depth dive into geography. Use a lot of living books, and we love our library, but also our home library was something we got to really invest in at the beginning of this year. And that is going to be awesome to be able to pull from as we continue going. But I also have a couple of printables companies that I routinely use some of their products. Number one, you've heard me mention it over and over if you've seen my videos, but Thistles and Biscuits. They make these really lovely, we're doing Mexico right now, really lovely little printable unit studies. So much that they do is just really beautiful, and we love using it. So you can see some more of their stuff on the line behind me. But the other one that we've been using a lot is Little Spark Companies. These are some of their continent overview ones. So right now I've got these printed out, and then we're going to be coloring in as we go along this year the countries that we do. That's more so that the kids can do it, because Mama has herself a really lovely chalkboard map for coloring in and keeping track of all the things, which I really like. I have a referral link for you guys in the description if you're interested in getting yourself one of those chalkboard maps. They also have one on just Europe and just America. But yeah, the chalkboard map is just for Mom. So the papers are ones that the kiddos can be working on as we go. And then I also have a couple other things from Little Spark Company. Let me see. Where's my stuff? Okay, so these country report pages, they actually have several different files you can get on their Etsy store with a report page for every single country in the world, which I love because we are going interest-led, and so many awesome resources that we do use, like KiwiCo and little passports and different things like that, tend to kind of like repeat the same countries. I don't mean that like if you're doing KiwiCo you're going to end up getting 2 of Germany or something like that, but what I mean is like there's some countries that kind of become the stock country to study, so to speak. And yeah, we just, a lot of times the kids will end up being interested in a country that is not going to be covered in one of those subscriptions along the way. So it's nice to have the option of a report page for every single country, because if we decide to build out our own unit study on some country, we have the ability to do that. So that is really cool. And then I've been meaning to put together kind of a master list of the library books that we've really liked from basically like where they're set in, which different countries they're set in, because we've gotten to explore a lot of really wonderful books in the past year, and not all of them have been timely for the country unit that we're doing at the time. But I would love to go back to them and pull from them as we get into some of those other countries. So yeah, so with that, let me show you a couple of the resources that I pull from over and over and over again. Like every time that we do a unit study, I'm getting into some of these. So first of all, we have Generations history textbooks. So these focus primarily in on like missionaries and other famous people throughout Christian history in these various places and how the gospel advanced through the various continents. But it's a neat tie-in to be able to pick through those a little bit at a time. Similarly, if you find a particular person and then we want to like go into those more, we have these little YWAM kids biography books, and then a couple, these two are both in Africa. This one is set in Indonesia. We've got Iran, like Southeast Asia, and then other like shorter biography books and things like that. But these adventure series books here have been really neat for sort of tying in like the nature study aspect of things. But every single story is written from a missionary's experience or a person's experience in those different locations. So that's been really neat. And then another one is these On Mission magazines. I'll have to pull one out for you so you can see it. As of now, we have all of the ones that they've made, and they come out with a new one every quarter. So these are really great for just again like a very born again perspective on different countries, and then some neat resources that generally are not Christian focused, but you can, you know, as the parent, use your discretion. And just a lot of really lovely, really neat info in here, including they always have the things that my daughter specifically asks for with every single country that we're studying. She always wants to know what the homes look like, what the people eat, and what they wear. And those are some of the things that you'll find in these On Mission magazines. So I will link what I mentioned in this video. I will link below so that you guys don't have to do too much Googling or anything. Let's see, what else? So, okay, there's a couple more books. And then I want to also show you the one product that I did haul for this coming year, other than catching up on the On Mission magazines. Let me show you a couple more books though. Okay, so Master Books has this pairing. You can find them on christianbook.com too, but I ended up thrifting both of them. I'm going to turn you around again. This is the Duo pack, and then it does have like a teacher's guide or whatever, but we just use these books individually. This one has been nice. It does not cover very many countries, but if we're studying one that is in here, it's been nice to have like a really big spread of it. I don't know if you can tell, like this is actually very, very large. So that's been neat, just for visual reference and stuff. And then this one is focused primarily on languages. And again, it does not have every country, but it's been a fun one for me. The way that the book lays, I'm able to set it up on my display shelf really easily for the children. And so that has been making for a nice visual when we are studying different languages. Another book that I keep finding pages for when we're doing our unit studies is this Osborne Children's World Cookbook. They definitely do not cover the whole world. Mostly European, but there is a little bit of a nod to some other places too. You can see it here as I'm flipping through. But the visuals are very beautiful, and my kids always like having recipe inspiration. So this is one that we use a lot. And again, I thrifted that one, but I do think that they've kept this one in print. Alright. Another thing YWAM related actually is these Christian heroes biographies, and then also they have audiobooks too, and so I do buy those when I find that they're running a great sale on their website, and then I also will pull from these documentaries. The two missionary guys have been to many places in the world, and those are some really neat episodes to watch when they are relevant. Even when they're not, we'll just sit and watch them, but certainly when you're building out a unit study on things, it's fun to be able to just throw that stuff in there. And when I talk about building out a country unit study, it's very interest-led. It's very much, even just for myself, like I might know in the back of my head, oh, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this, that we can tie in, but I don't sit down and like map it out for myself and make some sort of master plan of like dates and like, we're gonna do this thing then, and whatever. We might do like everything all in one day, and then maybe I think of something and we like find it on YouTube or something later on or something like that. Or maybe I don't spend much time sitting and thinking about it at all, and we just end up, we'll be sitting down for lunch and I'm looking at the bookshelf and I'm like, oh hey, we should like look at this. So another resource that we use over and over again is this lovely children's book. There is an adult version that's called Operation World. And this one specifically, you can find many countries in here, and when it's not a country, it's a people group. But there's just a little bit of like facts about them and some interesting stories, some cool pictures, and then there's prayer points for each one too. So this is primarily on more unreached nations, but even like, so we're studying Mexico right now, and we've got Mexico too, and it's just a really lovely resource for that. So this is one we pull from over and over and over again. Would definitely recommend checking out. And then I'll show you the couple of items that we did invest in this year. Is I did get myself a planner. So I don't, like I said, I don't go in here and like in-depth plan. But what I like about this one specifically is that it is very open-ended. You fill in your dates, so you can start and finish whenever you want. And then there's different sort of designs in here. You can see how I've labeled mine. But there's just this dot grid and then kind of this like strip of color here. And then I've got the subscription boxes that we do get. I have mapped out ahead of time which country we're getting if I know it in advance. And so there's all of the months and then you roll back into, here's one. Oh yeah, so just weeklies. So I've ended up just making a lot of notes for myself on a week in here, kind of like highlighting key things that we did, and then I might even like just kind of journal in on these other pages, fill in sort of a schedule that we kept to, and then I use these to fill in more like hourly chunks of the day, how we spend the day. So I fill that in as we go along. I don't fill it in advance and then stick to that. I just use it kind of more like a journal and like fill in what we did on each day. So that is most of the rest of this here. There are some other pages in the front too, book lists and like some curriculum overviews. So I've got like our subscription boxes and some, yeah, like our printables and things, like what I already have on hand to use to pull from. So that's my planner. And then from the same company, they make just these like colorful notebooks. So specifically I got one for Naomi to treat more like a journal, where she can come in and do like a drawing and then practice writing something, or yeah, just kind of whatever she wants. She can practice getting familiar with the date and do an illustration, and then she likes just practicing letters that she does know, and then sometimes I'll help her by doing like a dot grid for her to trace, or other times I'll just help her, like show her a letter like on a book or something like that, and then she'll copy it. But what I like about these being so open-ended is this notebook might end up being used for a whole nother year after this year. We'll just see. And then I did get one for my son too, who is not drawing or writing at all yet, but I knew that he wouldn't want to be left out, and so we did get one for him. And then likewise, like I said, with my daughter being able to use the same notebook potentially even next year, is my son can do the same thing. So if he only ends up kind of like scribbling into a couple of these pages this year, that's just fine. And then maybe next year he's ready to start working on some letters, or he's a little bit more interested in doing some drawing, and that's awesome then too. And so because it's not set to any sort of date or a set curriculum like add-on piece, it's open-ended enough that we're going to be able to continue using it in those like very flexible ways. So I thought you guys might be interested in seeing that and kind of how we're using them. They actually, this company is called School Nest. And they do have a website, but all of their stuff is sold through Amazon. So they have different notebooks that are this big size. I don't know if you could tell on the table, but it's like, it's a very significant size. They have them for all sorts of different grade levels for these composition notebooks, which is what we got. And then there's also a variety for different kinds of subjects too. So like there's one that's just open with just timeline lines for you to fill in, and then there's like a math one, which is more like grids for like doing a whole bunch of math problems, or spelling, and just various ones like that. And they're all very like flexible like these ones. So I think that they're geared more for like the Charlotte Mason approach. So if that rings a bell for you guys, then maybe you'll be more interested in that yourself. I just really liked that they were flexible enough for our family to use. Also, if anybody's curious about our graphic tees, either that I wear or that the children wear, most of them are from a company that we love that is called Nature Supply Company. And they make primarily organic cotton, graphic tees with just sayings on them that resonate for us. If you're a gardening, homesteading, homeschooling family, maybe you want to pick yourselves up a couple of them too. I don't have a referral link for them, but I'll definitely leave their website in the description for you guys. So this is a little crazy, a little scattered, but hopefully you've picked up some stuff that you didn't know about before, or that maybe you are just encouraged that you can do homeschooling without a whole big plan, without a whole big curriculum unboxing. Just a couple pieces here and there, and the curiosity and the drive to learn. You can make a really awesome year for yourself and your kiddos. So my kids are literally figuring out how to tell time and how to count and how to read and how to write without any books of like textbooks. They're just picking it up from life and from us answering their questions as they're curious about things. And then we do have a couple of like helping tools that I will draw from occasionally in helping with those interests. But for the most part, it's really simple. So if textbooks are what keeps it simple for you, Mama, then do it. But I would also encourage you to be able to trust your kids' instincts, and they're naturally going to want to learn, because that's how kiddos are. So as you just continue to fuel that fire and provide them with the helps along the way, they're going to figure stuff out. So bless you guys. We'll see you soon.